because I got to be here for the national elections, saw a great process, you know, the free and fair election of governments, and then we've seen some of the churn that's happened since then. But what I'm most excited about is all the different groups and people that I've had the chance to meet. I think, you know, I may have mentioned at the time, I'd set a pretty ambitious goal of traveling to all 7 provinces in my first 6 months. We did that. We've continued to travel. We're going to continue to travel. And so we're trying very hard to get out and talk to as many Nepalis as we possibly can and just get a real good feel for what's happening in the country and where we can take our partnership, because it's really at an exciting time right now between Nepal and the United States and all the work we're doing together.
So you have seen so many things, ups and downs in Nepali politics. So how difficult or how challenging it is to work with them?
Well, the great thing that I have seen, regardless of which coalition group comes together, is a strong commitment to the U.S.-Nepal partnership, to continuing our programming and to making sure that we continue to make progress on important initiatives like the work that USAID is doing, the work that MCC is doing, the work that our Development Finance Corporation is doing. We've had a full-on commitment from everybody we've worked with from the get-go. So from my standpoint, we're ready to work with whoever the Nepali people bring into the situation.
I just want to ask you, I was reading a couple of interviews also and looking at some of the YouTube interviews. So you mentioned USAID, you mentioned MCC and the DFC, Development Financial
Corporation.
Can you let us know what the DFC does? Because that's a fairly new concept for me, at least.
Well, it is, because what happened was a few years ago we took a few of the agencies that do things in terms of export finance support or insurance for overseas investment, things of that nature. And Congress combined them into one body. And so what Development Finance Corporation does is it comes and looks at opportunities to invest, either through equities, or in our case right now, there's a lot of work they're doing with private banks here to enable them to provide better credit facilities to small and medium-sized enterprises, particularly women-run enterprises. And so they're here to the tune of about $250 million US right now, and we'd love to see that expand even further.
I see.
So a Nepali business and startup can be introduced to the US market?
Well, absolutely. We would love to see more opportunity for trade. We would love to see a more vibrant investment environment in Nepal for US investors, but also investors from other countries. Also, we would love to be part of helping to build a strong economic and commercial foundation so that more and more Nepali young people see a real future for themselves in Nepal and a chance to build this economy. And those that have gone abroad to build other people's economies, which they've done very successfully, maybe have a chance to come back and continue to build at home.
So is there any initiative that you are working on that American investment coming into the market in Nepal?
Well, as you know, from an American standpoint, all investment is through private sector means. So we don't tell companies what they can or can't do, things like that. We do advise if they come to us, and we publish every year an investment climate statement to help them understand the market and figure out how best to operate should they choose to come in. And we're seeing a lot of interest. There's some very exciting sectors, obviously, in Nepal. The IT sector has some great things happening, all the way from sort of back office type support work to cutting edge AI research to just about any blockbuster film you've seen in the last few years probably had the CGI work done here in Incessant Rain Studios, here in Kathmandu. So it's exciting to see that sector. When I talk to engineering firms, they love the talent that they find in Nepal. Even young engineers right out of university, they say they can put them right to work and get great results. In the health sector, we're seeing a lot of innovation and a lot of partnership between U.S. and Nepali doctors, which is exciting to see. I just, this last weekend, met some doctors from Mount Sinai Hospital in New York who are here for a year to work with the hospital in Dulikel, which is very, very neat work. and we're looking forward to seeing that expand wherever it can. And then, you know, the energy sector, the ag sector, tourism goes without saying, right? The tourism sector here has almost limitless potential. And I'm very excited about some things we've done this past year in terms of bringing internet influencers to Nepal and having them engage, travel, and then post about what's been going on. In fact, the results from that have been fantastic.
You mean the content, the Creators Mela? Right?
Well, the Creators Mela...
Was that part of that? Or?
Two separate things. So we brought influencers here with an idea of focusing just on Nepal tourism and telling the story of what it is to travel here. The Creators Mela is equally exciting, but it's more about working with Nepal content creators to help them develop their skills, develop professionalism, network and understand, you know, what opportunities are out there. And that was fantastic. We had over 1,000 participants, 30 separate programs that were run. We had speakers in from around the world, which was just, you know, the response was fantastic, and the enthusiasm that you saw on the part of the participants was inspiring.
Oh, it was amazing.
That is very good. Eh?
I just want to, because I just thought of this question. That's what we do in our show. We have some guiding lights, but we also come up with something very out of the blue. What about the alumni? Like, as you must be aware, like including myself, there are a lot of alumni from U.S. colleges and universities. And they are playing some very important roles in Nepal society, right?
Absolutely.
From different sectors. How are you able to bring them together? Are you doing, you think enough is being done to bring them all together to support Nepali activities?
Well, you know, I don't know that I'd ever say enough is being done because we could always try to do more and there's always great opportunities out there. But we do sponsor over the course of a year different events where we welcome alumni, whether it's private alumni who went to study in the U.S. on their own or alumni from U.S. government exchange programs. You know, we have the International Visitor Leadership Program in which we can send young Nepalis to gain experience in their fields around the U.S. We have the Fulbright programs. There, you know, on and on. There's almost an endless number of opportunities to do exchanges with the U.S. And so we want to continue to build on that. And you're absolutely right. When people come back, we want to stay connected. We want to know what they're up to and what they're doing because it helps us shape future programming. But you know, it also helps them connect with one another. They've had these common experiences. They can often leverage those together, which is really great.
There is a big number of Nepalis who have come back from the U.S.
Well, indeed, because you know, Nepali students actually make up one of the largest cohorts of students in the United States. On a per capita basis, Nepal is the #1 group of foreign students in the U.S. And even on a you know, just standard measure, whole number basis, you know, they're probably 10th or 12th. So, I mean, it's for the size of the country, it's a huge population.
Absolutely. We have to take a small break.
Sure.
छोटो ब्रेक लिन्छौँ. ब्रेक पछि हाम्रो US एम्बेसडरलाई लिएर फेरि फिर्ता आउँछौँ. छोटो ब्रेक.
Advanced heroism मलाई बनाउँछ भित्रैबाट अन्य प्रकारमा पनि उपलब्ध छ
त्यसैले लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ यसले दिन्छ कीटाणुहरूबाट 100% स्ट्रङ सुरक्षा
जम्सबाट बच्न अब पाउनुहोस् 100 ग्रामको लाइफ बोय साबुन मात्र रु 45 मा
तपाईको फेभरेट सनसिल्क स्याम्पू अब भयो अझै राम्रो यसमा छ भिटामिन्स ओइल्स अनि प्रोटिनको एक्टिभ मिक्स जसले दिन्छ तपाईलाई शाइनी घना अनि सुन्दर कपाल सुपर कपाल हरेक बार नयाँ सनसिल्क एक्टिभ मिक्स को साथ अब सनसिल्क कन्डिसनरमा पनि उपलब्ध छ
हिजो गरेको जोहोले आजको जीवन सुखद हुन्छ थोरै नै किन नहोस् बचत गर्ने बानी बसालौं एभरेस्ट बैंक दिगो दरिलो र विश्वासिलो थोपा थोपा पानीले विशाल सागर बन्छ थोरै नै किन नहोस् बचत गर्ने बानी बसालौं। एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो। हरेक दिनको हिसाबले साना साना इच्छा पूरा हुन्छ। थोरै नै किन नहोस्, बचत गर्ने बानी बसालौं। एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो।
This morning live brought to you by Lifebuoy,
Farm, Rap, संसारकै नम्बर 1 सेलिङ जर्म प्रोटेक्सन सोप ब्रान्ड।
associate sponsor
एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो।
Pepsodent, एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ।
दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा फेरि एकचोटि हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। यो प्रोग्राम अघि 6:30 बजेदेखि आइरहेको छ भने यो प्रोग्रामलाई यहाँ समक्ष ल्याउनको लागि लाइफबोय, पेप्सोडेन्ट अनि एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्कले सहयोग गरिरहेको छ। उहाँलाई धन्यवाद दिँदै अगाडि बढ्ने क्रममा आज हामीसँग अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ युएस एम्बेसडर। उहाँसँग कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ। अहिलेको परिवेश, अहिलेको परिवेशमा भइरहेका डेभलपमेन्टहरूको विषयमा थोरै जान्ने कोसिस गरिरहेका छौँ। आउनुहोस् फेरि एकचोटि कुरा गरौँ होला उहाँसँग।
Your Excellency, welcome back after the break. The big question, as always, is connected to U.S. government, U.S. embassy, and Nepal is MCC.
Sure.
Now that is kind of moving fairly smoothly, from what we understand. What's your take on MCC as we speak at this moment?
Well, we're in a really good position right now, and you know, we've been just over a year ago went into entry into force. We have let out contracts now for 3 of the big substations for the 18-kilometer transmission line that will enable eventually cross-border transmission and export of clean energy. The larger transmission line project will be let out by the end of the year. And so we're moving smartly forward on the electrical part of it. By the end of the year, I also expect to have the transportation tender put out, which is going to be great because that actually introduces some new road reclamation and recycling technology that we think can be used widely across Nepal to improve the transportation infrastructure here. So I'm excited. MCC represents, in its most immediate sense, an opportunity to put about 10,000 Nepalis to work building it and getting it underway. And then it represents just a sea change in the energy sector here in terms of allowing Nepalis to take full advantage of the green energy that they produce through hydro every year, build the Nepal economy, power the Nepal economy, and then potentially even export some of what's left over. And we estimate a fair bit will be left over even after Nepal uses everything it can.
So do you think that will be, the project will be completed and given estimated time and the budget will be enough for that?
I'm optimistic on both those fronts. I mean, obviously, nobody expected COVID. Nobody expected certain other things that come up. So what I would say is we're working closely with MCA, with the MCC folks in Washington, and just making sure we're trying to take every eventuality into account. But yeah, absolutely, we intend for it to be done within the 5-year period and on budget, and we'll work together as partners because Nepal, as you know, is the largest contributing country to their MCC project. The government of Nepal has committed almost $200 million US. So, working together, I'm sure we're going to be able to make things happen, right?
So, I mean, given it's a big project, it's a long-term project. Any plans that the U.S. government might be thinking about for extension of this or something similar? I mean, there will be an end point, obviously, but then what after the end point is the question, right? So, what's your take on this one?
Well, I think MCC's entire focus often is, in coming in with a big, game-changing sort of project that can have a huge economic impact.
Right.
And this project will. Certainly it's within the realm of the possibility that a second compact could be looked at, but generally only after you've successfully gone through the process of completing this one.
Okay.
We don't want to dilute focus. We don't want to take it away. And as we've already talked about, we have other initiatives: USAID, Peace Corps, DFC. Lots of other areas in which we can continue to help push the Nepal economy forward and build the partnership.
Right. So I mean, it's more of you go in impact, and then you let the government take over. Maybe
big impact. Well, and I wouldn't even say take over, right? Remember, this is a Nepal-run project. It's U.S. financing through a big part of it, but Nepal designed it, requested it, put it together, consulted for it. That's what's exciting, is watching the development of that process move forward in a positive way.
Yeah, I think that's the important messaging, because we don't associate that being a Nepal-led project, and that's probably why there's a bit of a confusion in the very beginning. And
no, the MCA is a Nepal government organization, right? We're a bit of a partner. We help with the financing. We can provide some elements of expertise here and there, but this is being run by Nepal, and they're doing a great job.
Shall I continue?
Yeah.
She's, today we're discussing, Srijana and I were discussing that you're coming, and we're thinking, oh, we're going to bombard the ambassador with so many questions. I'm kidding.
No, it's not about that. It's not about that. Like, I was just thinking about the Nepali students going to the US.
Yeah.
Like, everybody would like to go to the US and study there and live there, and and US is always a very fascinating country for everybody.
Sure.
Land of opportunity.
Yeah, land of opportunity.
Land of
this and that,
dreams.
everything is there. So, is there any, any initiative you are taking, looking at the Nepali students?
Oh, well, first off, I would say we do have available through our Fulbright Center an educational counseling service, right? And so I would always encourage any Nepalis that want to study in the U.S. to take advantage of that. We have literally thousands of institutes of higher learning in the United States. And while we may all know certain name institutions or something like that, no one place is right for everybody. And so we have a lot of information we can provide on which programs are strongest at which schools, which types of financial aid programs might be available, what it is to study in the U.S. and prepare to go into a different type of curriculum than they might be used to. So first and foremost, I would say, please take advantage of our education testing or counseling opportunities. Second is, we work very hard to try to facilitate visa interviews for students. I know everyone is aware that there's been a bit of a backlog. We've been able to move. We've been able to move students to sort of the front of the line, and we're going to continue to find ways to do that. Well, we're working hard to get on top of that. Basically, we've had a twofold increase in the past year or 2 years actually in terms of applications, and so it obviously takes some time for infrastructure to catch up with that type of situation. But we're going to get there, and on the student front, we're just enthusiastic about the students that want to go to the U.S. We see every day great folks that are going to go and study and that have wonderful ideas about what they want to bring back to Nepal at the end of that experience. And then we talked earlier about the alumni network, and we'd love to see that expand and grow and become even more vibrant.
So, as an ambassador, what did you suggest, advise students or guardians of students that are planning to go to US? What are the pitfalls that they should be, aware of? Because a lot of them go, and then sometimes they are not aware of some of the pitfalls that may be there. US is a great place for education, but there are instances where we have heard some news, about not necessarily good preparation before going.
Sure. Well, again, this is why we offer the education counseling services, so that students can have maybe a more tailored advising session, right? Because some students, it may be the first time they ever travel overseas, and they may have no experience in that realm. Others may have traveled their whole life, and going to the U.S. is no different than going to the store next door, right? So so we want to have those opportunities to share with students and their families so that they understand what they're getting into and where they're headed. And so we'll continue to offer that. You know, I know people look at lots of news out of the U.S. It's a big place. There's lots of things going on. Sometimes that news can be disturbing or scary, but you know, campuses are some of the safest places in terms of what they've been able to do in helping to build out student security infrastructure, providing safe spaces, you know, making sure that the areas are you know, well covered by security and other you know, communication modes, things of that nature. So, yeah, I have nothing but the utmost enthusiasm for what we're doing in the international education front and where we'll continue to build that.
Right. We want to now talk about a very important part, as a break. Tell us about your love for pets. We have heard many things. I'm going to add that right now before we go into other issues. So you have pets, you have dogs.
I have a dog.
We both have dogs. So we don't know.
Yeah, so we've always had dogs, and as you could imagine, living a foreign service lifestyle where you move every 2 to 3 years, especially with kids, it's always great to have the pet come along with you and provide that sense of home and continuity. Before coming to Nepal, we didn't have a dog for a couple of years, and so we thought, oh, we'll get a dog to bring with us to Nepal. So my wife's cousin had a litter of puppies. Oh. And we looked and said, oh, okay, the mother's about 20 kilos, the father's about 20 kilos. This will be great. Our dog is now 50 kilos.
Oh, my God.
So he doesn't even fit in the cage that he came in anymore. But he's a friendly, fun dog. We love having him around. I'm sure you've seen him on social media.
Yes, I have.
So we take great advantage of getting him around. And he sheds all over the place. But he loves the opportunities to get out into the forest here and hike around, and we enjoy that very much. So yeah, Nepal's a great pet culture here. So we've loved having our dog here.
So it's very easy to keep your pet at your side here, not like other country. So it's very good to have your own pet and spend your own time with them, so that you can, you know, release your stress and feel comfortable.
Exactly.
What do you do? I mean, like, for example, ambassador. You are the U.S. ambassador to Nepal. There's so much, like Srijana said, there's stress. You have to think of different things. I don't mean stress in a bad way. It comes with the job.
Yeah.
So you need to release. You need to relax. What do you do? What does ambassador of U.S. to Nepal do on a regular basis?
Well, you know, one, I've talked about the travel we try to do so that we get out and really see all of Nepal, not just certain little components of it. I do, you know, I try to exercise every day and keep my health up. You know, my wife and I do enjoy, you know, our time with friends here, and there's so many different fun things to do around Kathmandu, right? Friday nights, Saturday nights, lots to do and going out, incredible music scene. Yeah, so we just try to take advantage of as much as we possibly can. I love to golf, and we have some, you know, very nice golf courses nearby. So, yeah, I would say being active and being a participant in what's happening is critical. I used to joke to my staff, though, you know, that I sleep very well at night because I assume they don't. But you know, in fact, it's a team effort to try to make sure we stay on top of everything.
We'll take a break. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back hitting you with tough questions.
All right.
Short break.
हेर न आज पनि नयाँ लुगा तलब त निकै बढे जस्तो छ
तलब पनि पहिलाकै हो अनि लुगा पनि यो लुगा धोएको ऋण मात्र नयाँ हो नयाँ ऋणको ब्राइट लक टेक्नोलोजीले गर्दा लुगामा सधैँ नयाँ जस्तै चमक रहन्छ लुगामा नयाँ जस्तै चमक ल्याउन पैसा बढी हैन रोजाइ सही हुनुपर्छ नयाँ ऋणको ब्राइट लक टेक्नोलोजीले तपाईको लुगालाई दिन्छ नयाँ जस्तै चमक नयाँ ऋण अब ब्राइट लक टेक्नोलोजीको साथ नयाँ जस्तै चमक।
एडभान्स हेयर ओइल्स तहसम्म गई कपाललाई बनाउँछ भित्रैबाट बलियो। प्यारिस एडभान्स अन्य प्रकारमा पनि उपलब्ध छ।
त्यसैले लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ, यसले दिन्छ कीटाणुहरूबाट 100% स्ट्रङ्गर सुरक्षा।
जम्सबाट बच्न अब पाउनुहोस् 100 ग्रामको लाइफ बोय साबुन मात्र रु 45 मा।
नयाँ प्याराशुट नेचुरल स्याम्पूलाई मेरो कपालले भन्छ यस। यसको प्राकृतिक गुणहरूले कपाललाई राख्छ प्राकृतिक रूपमा सिल्की र बलियो। प्याराशुट नेचुरल स्याम्पू, केमिकललाई भनौँ नो, नेचुरललाई भनौँ यस।
ट्राई गर्नुहोस् नयाँ एन्टी ड्यान्ड्रफ स्याम्पू, चायाबाट 100% सुरक्षाका लागि।
जम्सबाट बच्न अब पाउनुहोस् 100 ग्रामको लाइफ बोय साबुन मात्र रु 45 मा।
This morning live brought to you by Lifebuoy,
संसारकै नम्बर 1 सेलिङ जम्प प्रोटेक्सन सोप ब्रान्ड।
associate sponsor
एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो।
पेप्सोडेन्ट, एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ।
हजुर दिस मर्निङ लाइभ हेरिरहनु भएको छ र प्रोग्राममा हामीले युएस एम्बेसडरसँग कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ। यसै क्रममा उहाँको व्यक्तिगत कुराहरू पनि गऱ्यौँ अलिअलि र अहिले चलिरहेको विभिन्न इस्युजहरूको बारेमा पनि कुरा गर्ने कोसिस गऱ्यौँ र यसै क्रममा फेरि एकचोटि यहाँलाई धेरै धेरै स्वागत छ। अहिलेसम्म त यहाँले नेपाली बुझिसक्नु भयो होला है?
Maybe convert that. Yeah. She's trying to challenge you now. So have you had a chance to maybe, learn few words or no? Or?
I used to speak a bit of Bengali, and so I can recognize a few words here and there.
Close.
But unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to do Nepali language before coming out. So I find myself, constantly moving from one thing to another. So I should work harder at it, I know, but I will confess, Nepalis make it a little too easy.
Speaking English.
Because everybody speaks English so well, so yeah.
But what about the food? I know you have been here for 2 years, you're influenced by like South Asian cuisine also, I'm sure, because you worked in this area. Nepali, what food items do you like in Nepal?
All of them. Yeah.
I know, did you go to have the biryani? Or what
yeah.
Nepalganj?
Absolutely. In Nepalganj, and then, there's a new biryani shop here in Tamil that's really, really good. So we love that. I mean, look, Momo are just amazing, and there's so many different varieties that we've enjoyed doing that. And we've also had the chance, you've probably seen some of our videos of Jane and I trying to learn how to make Momo.
We saw that.
It's challenging. We did a very fun video with a Nawari family in Patan, learning about Nawari food and cooking. Yomari is amazing. You
know your food. Yomari,
and then buff choila is out of this world. So, yeah, no, I mean, the food in Nepal has been fantastic. And it's also fun, to take advantage of some of the seasonal things. So I happened to be up in Upper Mustang at apple season last year. That was incredible. At first I thought I'd bring a box back, and then people kept writing to me saying, hey, could you bring a kilo? Could you bring a kilo? I think we brought about 20 kilos of apples back,
You did?
Yeah, we had so much interest in it.
Did you try the Marfa?
The Marfa apple pie there, and it's fantastic.
And the wine, apple wine?
The apple wine, yes. Yeah, I did try that. Very
also?
good. Very good.
Actually, you know Nepal more than us.
Yeah, it looks like,
traveled a lot.
I haven't been to some of the places you just mentioned.
Well, I feel very, very fortunate, right? We've done some really cool travel since we've been here. The trip to Upper Mustang was driven mostly by the fact that we have a number of programs through our Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation. And so we've been able to help restore some of the monasteries that are up there, and it's a great way to connect with communities, especially communities that are somewhat far-flung. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful part of the country, absolutely stunning. I had a wonderful opportunity to travel up to Namche Bazaar and do a video on climate change and climate effects in mountain regions, and to screen the film about Nepal's great first female climber of Mount Everest, Pasang Lama Sherpa, right? Yeah. And that was an amazing experience to do that. And then just, you know, we've been to Sudar Paschim and seen some great programs there. Been to the national park there where the USAID program to help reintroduce some wildlife has gone very well. And then everywhere we go, you know, we have a number of American corners around the country, and those provide us a great opportunity to meet young people and talk to them about what's on their minds. As you can probably tell from today, I love to talk. I'll talk all day about things. But one of the things, you know, the key parts of diplomacy is also going out and listening and trying to really hear people and understand where they're coming from and what their interests are, because that helps us build the partnership. So that's what the travel is really about, is getting out and hearing from Nepal about what they're interested in.
You have traveled a lot around Nepal. So you must have seen the Himalayas. The Himalayas is there and will be there, you know, but the color has been changed, the atmosphere has been changed. And nowadays the, you know, climate change and global warming is a hot issue. So is there anything you are doing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have in fact, at the embassy, we have a regional environmental officer who is working not just in Nepal, but with all the countries of the region to try to help deliver on the climate change initiatives that we've all been pursuing. Nepal is particularly unique given that Everest is here and that the Himalayas are such a key part of what's happening. I don't know if everybody fully appreciates that the Himalayas have an effect on over 2 billion people, right, between India, China, and all the other countries of the region. And so it's incredibly important that we be cognizant of what's happening and see what can be done to mitigate things. I mentioned my trip to Namche. I believe that was in May of 2023, and you know, the weather patterns had shifted dramatically in talking to people. I would recommend if people have a chance to check out our social media site, because I recently did a Conversations with Nepal video talking with the chief scientist at the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development here, ICIMOD, which is doing fantastic work. And he was able to give a lot of really great information about what's happening, what they're doing, and what the international community is trying to do to help. So we're very keenly involved on those fronts.
We can see that you're involved in research and also like, you know, climate-related conservation work. You know, very impressive, and the level of work that's being done. I had a question for you. Have you found, now that you have been here for 2 years, has anything struck you as being very unique about Nepal, the way we do things here? You know, based on your experience elsewhere also, has Nepal, is there anything different the way we do things in Nepal?
I've not really been asked that question before. I'll have to think about it a little bit. I mean, what I would say is Nepal has its own unique history, right? So for someone like me who's lived in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and India, you know, you get to see these very vibrant, amazing countries with interesting culture and history, overlaid a bit by the colonial experience. That's the most unique part for me about Nepal, is it's remained independent and sovereign through its entire history, right? And the you know, the entire pattern of what has happened since Prithvi Narayan Shah brought the country together, and how things have developed historically. It means Nepal was maybe a tad bit isolated for a long time, right? And has burst onto the scene in some ways in the last 50, 60 years. And so, you know, I think that's somewhat unique and also exciting, because it's great to see how far things have moved. I think I might have mentioned on the last time I came, you know, I first visited Nepal about 30 years ago, a very short trip with my family. We had a great time, and it was just an amazing to see the Himalayas for the first time and all that. But the infrastructure was very different than it is today. There were, you know, a little more cautious about where you could eat and all this. And now you come and there's this whole, you know, tourism infrastructure that's fantastic and growing. And, you know, that's an area where through USAID we're trying to invest quite a bit right now, is seeing how we can help build that out and expand the various price points that Nepal can cater to on that front. Because, you know, that the natural beauty here, the culture. I mean, the fact that you can walk around Kathmandu, right, and just find yourself all of a sudden in a little neighborhood that's having a festival on any given day that they've been doing for 800 years, you know, that's amazing. That's just an incredible heritage and an incredible legacy for a country to have. So we're excited about continuing to work through that.
Yeah, obviously. Nepali people are the most happiest people in the world.
We think so anyway.
We think so, and the research has also said that we are the most happiest people. So it's very easy to live here, and everybody is very friendly here, and everybody love to ask for tea and ask for lunch here. So it's very easy to live here, no?
Well, having guff gaff over chai, right, is just a wonderful
So I've heard
experience.
about you that you are very fitness freak, and so can you please tell us something about your fitness,
workout is
your
what we're
workout,
trying
your yoga, and your trekking and everything?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm a fitness freak, but I just try to, you know, do something to offset all the momo that I'm eating. But, no, yeah, we, you know, do some weightlifting and cardio workouts, but then, like you said, you know, trying to take advantage of the natural beauty here, the ability to be outside and hike quite a bit. We tend to do a little more around the valley. Trekking, that's a pretty intense commitment of time and effort, right? If you really want to do a full-on trek. But you know, we love to get over to Nagarjun, Shivapuri, Nagarkot. There's just so many wonderful areas you can hike around for a few hours and see so many interesting things. So yeah, we try to do that as best we possibly can. And I think, you know, just trying to stay healthy is always part and parcel of any being effective in any job that you do.
I just had a question. I know we have to go to break very soon, but before the break, so are there going to be any changing priorities of the U.S. government in terms of support to Nepali, you know, work that you're doing in Nepal?
I
in
don't
the coming
see,
days.
Yeah, I don't really see us changing our priorities. I see
Will there be a shift in
I see us continuing to really focus on implementation of MCC and getting the project across the finish line. USAID is continuing to work in a number of important areas, from food security to health to environmental and climate mitigation efforts. Maybe one area where we're starting to put a bit more emphasis is on economic growth. As Nepal gets ready to graduate from least developed country status in 2026, we want to make sure that we're partnering with them to help in whatever way we can to make that transition as smooth as possible. You may have seen recently we had Trade and Investment Framework Agreement talks here, where we'll be looking at ways to how do we build the trade relationship between our two countries even further. So. Yeah, I think our priorities are fairly well set. We review them regularly, but we also, you know, we consult with Nepal regularly because we really want to make sure our priorities are Nepal's priorities, and that they're, you know, we're helping support the move towards the kind of country and prosperity that Nepalis want to see.
I think we'll take a small, short break. Then we'll come back for our final, last
round.
few minutes discussion with you. I'll let you a short break. Break for you.
एडभान्स हेयर ओइल तहसम्म गई कपाललाई बनाउँछ भित्रैबाट बलियो अन्य प्रकारमा पनि उपलब्ध छ
त्यसैले लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ यसले दिन्छ कीटाणुहरूबाट 100% स्ट्रङ्गर सुरक्षा
जम्सबाट बच्न अब पाउनुहोस् 100 ग्रामको लाइफ बोय साबुन मात्र रु 45 मा
This morning live brought to you by Lifebuoy,
Palm, Rub, संसारकै नम्बर 1 सेलिङ जर्म प्रोटेक्सन सोप ब्रान्ड,
associate sponsor Everest Bank, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो, Pepsodent, एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ।
दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा फेरि एकचोटि हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु र युएस एम्बेसडरसँग कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ र यसै क्रममा उहाँको पर्सनल कुराहरू पनि हामी गरिरहेका छौँ भने एज अ एम्बेसडर उहाँले गरिरहनु भएको काम उहाँको एम्बेसीले गरिरहेको इनिसिएसनहरूको बारेमा पनि कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ र हाँस उठिरहेको किन छ
हाँसै उठ्यो हामी सक सरप्राइज पनि भयो हामीहरू तिमी सुरु गर्छौ होइन we were talking so we were surprised just before the break finished you gave us a big surprise and for me it was a surprise looking at you. Yeah. We did not realize you're a grandfather.
I am a grandfather.
You're a grandfather.
Yeah, I have 2 grandchildren.
You have 2 grandchildren. Wow.
Yeah, my son is a professor back in the U.S. and he and his wife have a young boy and a new baby. So
well, congratulations.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. We got to spend some time with them over the summer in June. So yeah, and our grandson actually visited Nepal last year. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, we've already taken him around to Pokhara, and
we missed the post then. We missed the post.
Well, we're probably a little more cautious with children on our social media stuff, to try to be safe. But no, they came out and visited and had a wonderful trip, and we got down to Chitwan with our daughter and her boyfriend, saw a tiger. So we've really enjoyed our time with family here.
So, how does it feel like, being away? I mean, like you're traveling all the time, then you have your family members in a different part of the country, in the globe. It could be US, could be elsewhere, and you want to spend time with them, but your work takes you different places. How does that feel? How do you balance it?
Well, I'll be honest. As you start to get into new phases of family, like having grandchildren, it gets a little harder. But I will say, I'm glad to be doing it in this period of history where we have FaceTime and all the messaging possibilities. So we can actually get on with the grandkids every evening pretty much, and my wife will read them a story still over the video screen and all that. So we stay engaged. My grandson, he's 2. He has a globe in his playroom, and he's already able to find Nepal and point and say the highest mountain in the world. So. Wow. So that's fun.
Because of the technology, it's very easy to connect, to stay connected with the family. Yeah. So if I ask you the same question, like you have the same situation and the stuff, like your daughters are studying somewhere, your wife is always traveling, you are always traveling. How do you feel? How do you, able to connect with the family?
Then you prioritize, and when you're doing something, you do something, but you try to make time for each other and family. I guess that's the same answer.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, and and you do have to prioritize for your travels. You go home for certain events. You make time. I will say, we're very fortunate. As far away physically as Nepal and the U.S. are, the flight connections are actually pretty good, and so if you hit them just right, you can get back to the U.S. in less than 24 hours. So,
maybe
it's not
one
so
day
far anymore.
Direct flight between U.S. and Nepal may be possible, because there's enough passengers who are flying back and forth. I think
could potentially be there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think
those things are all market driven, so we'll have to see how that develops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It will be too long.
There are longer flights.
Well, technology's moving forward every day. We'll see.
Now, as we come close to the conclusion of the conversation, so what's your plan now? I mean, as an individual, you have been in the bureaucratic service, in the foreign service for a long time. What's your plan moving forward?
Well, my plan right now is continue to focus 100% on the efforts that we're making here in Nepal. We have a fantastic team at the embassy. I'm just so proud every day of the work that they do, and I feel incredible gratitude for the folks that have, bid and sought to come here and work for us. They're just doing amazing things. So I'm 100% focused there. I imagine I have another year or so here before our system will sort of move us along. I don't know. Maybe back to Washington, maybe somewhere else. But either way, I don't want to miss a minute of our time here, and I'm definitely not going to spend it focused on what could be when I can focus on what's happening now.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I think we're almost to the end of the program, but now. At the end of our program, we always have a quote.
Quote.
Okay.
That I'll tell you what quote we have, and then we understand that there might be a quote that you have in your mind also because you have come prepared.
Sure.
Our quote, and I have to go through the notes, it comes from an American author. He was a Nobel Prize laureate also, William Faulkner. And we have put it on the screen. You can also see it. A very famous author, obviously, William Faulkner. And in fact, he was born on September 25th, which is today, I believe. And he passed away in July 6th, 1962. So he wrote, "We must be free not because we claim freedom, but because we practice it." I think it defines U.S. government and U.S. as a country.
I think that's right, and I think, you know, freedom is something we can never take for granted. We have to be willing to ensure that we're fighting for it and exercising it at every opportunity. And so, as an American, it's something we hold incredibly dear, and I think, you know, it's something we want to share with the rest of the world as best we possibly can.
I would like to hear your quote also.
Well, mine is a little maybe less cerebral, but people may have heard of an American football coach, Vince Lombardi.
Of course.
You know, one of the most successful coaches of the 1960s. Yes. And I've always enjoyed a particular quote of his, simply because I think it speaks to the importance of hard work and perseverance. And he used to say, winning is not a sometimes thing, it's an all-the-time thing. You don't win once in a while, you do things right all the time. Winning is a habit. And so I like to use that, especially if things feel like they're getting hard or something like that. It's a good reminder that, you know, we put our all into it, we leave it all on the field, and usually then good things follow.
Yeah. Keep at it.
Very,
so
very,
that applies to us also.
Yeah, very relevant.
Well, you own a cricket team, right? So
Yeah.
you know.
Or the show, or everything we do, you know,
exactly.
office. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you. Very nice quote you said there, and it's very motivating.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we are almost over. So is there anything you want to say?
As we're passing, last statement from you, maybe?
Well, certainly if you give me the opportunity, I'll say something. But no, I just want to say thank you to you all for hosting us and letting me come on today. I've always enjoyed these conversations. I want to say a huge thank you to the news media in general. Freedom of the press is one of the most important fundamental things in any democratic society, and so I just want to pay great respect to the institution of the press that's here. And to, you know, our Nepali friends and partners, I just say we really look forward to continuing this wonderful relationship, and I look forward to continuing to build our partnership in the years ahead.
Thank you. Lovely words.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You.
Thank you so much for your, time and your information and your knowledge.
We enjoyed having you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
This is something for you from the Kosaya.
Thank you.
Yeah, and from also.
All right, Kosaya, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, good luck moving forward, and I'm sure we'll catch you at some other point, some other time.
I look forward to it.
Or even outside.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
यति भन्दै हामीहरू अतिथिलाई हामीले बिदाई गर्छौँ र भोलि फेरि हामी पनि बिदाई गर्छौँ, हामी पनि बिदा हुन्छौँ आज त र भोलि फेरि भेटिहाल्छौँ बिहान 6:30 बजे. Have a good day. नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
This Morning Live, brought to you by Lifebuoy.
Farm, Rap,